Hi, my name is Catherine Gomes. I am the author of Apologia Math, and in this video I want to show you the structure and the philosophy of the program using the level 3 book of the series. So I'm going to be showing you how I introduce new math concepts in this book using a concrete pictorial abstract approach. I also want to show you how these books teach kids that math concepts are related and that they're not just learning multiplication in isolation from other ideas. And then finally, I want to show you the skills practice. The skills practice is an element of the program where kids practice or rehearse a certain skill for 5 to 10 minutes each day in addition to the lessons in this book. And it really helps them move those skills into their long-term memory. Whenever I teach a new concept in Apologia Math, I like to follow the Concrete-pictorial-abstract approach. And that is a well-researched progression that researchers have found is very effective in teaching a child a new mathematical idea. So you can really look for this when I'm introducing something for the first time. A great example is the chapter on multiplication because for most kids, this is going to be the first time they see multiplication, all right, here in level 3. So first, I'm going to teach it concretely. So I have the kids actually build equal groups out of blocks, okay? You can see in the activity here. So the very first time, we're basing it on repeated addition because we want to connect multiplication to other math ideas. And the kids are actually building towers that are the same size and then counting up the total, all right? See how concrete that is? They're touching it, they're feeling it. And we do several different things to show it to them concretely, but then we're also moving to a pictorial representation. That just means that we're now on the page, it's not a manipulative, but we're showing them real life things like groups of birds or equal groups of eggs. So it goes from concrete to pictorial. And since this is such a key concept, there's a couple different activities that are concrete. Here, they're making equal groups. Here's another pictorial representation, showing them how to count up to find the total. Here they're using beads. Another great pictorial representation for so many math ideas is a number line. And here we're showing multiplication on the number line. After they've had a lot of practice with pictures and with concrete objects, then it's time to introduce them to the abstract concept of multiplication. So when I say abstract, I mean numerals and math symbols, right? So only after they have that foundation. Let me show you that progression again with another concept. This time it's going to be area. So when kids first are learning about area, I have them build a rectangle out of linking cubes. And the cool thing is, if you turn the cubes, they can actually snap together to make like a really sturdy rectangle. What I love about this is this 3x6 rectangle, they can actually count up the area by touching and feeling, which is great. Then for pictorial representations, we have them finding the area where they can actually count up the squares, right? They can see it. Only after they've done that do I introduce the abstract equation, which is length times width. It can be tempting as the parent to jump to length times width, but if you have kids go through that progression themselves, they will have such a better grasp of the concept. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you is how I focused on the interconnectedness of math when I wrote the book. So we don't want kids to separate different math ideas, both because it doesn't help them retain it, but also because it's not true. Math ideas don't function in isolation, they are connected. So for instance, when we first teach multiplication, as I showed you, we show kids that it connects to repeated addition. That's how I introduce it, is like multiplication is repeated addition. And that's just true. But another thing is right after the unit on multiplication, we do division. And in the division chapter, We just mirror everything that we did in the multiplication chapter. So for instance, in multiplication, I had the kids making equal groups, and then in division, I have them splitting a group apart so that they can see and feel that. We always want kids to be able to see those connections. When we do the graphs and charts, something that was really fun to do is now we've moved into like a tomato representing 10 tomatoes. So when they answer these questions, they're going to be multiplying, getting more reinforcement, okay? Even with time, it was great to be able to now introduce like the skip counting by fives, where the kids are much better at counting by fives, multiplying by 5 as they learn time. So whenever there is a connection, I try to emphasize it. And if I missed one, my editor was great at saying like, whoa, you can tie this into multiplication skills, division skills. So that was a lot of fun. One other thing I wanted to show you is the skills practice, because I think this is a pretty unique part of the program. So in 3rd grade, you're probably starting to think about multiplication facts, right? Math facts are so important. Obviously addition and subtraction as well, but multiplication and division tend to be a little more of a time investment for kids. So they are super important, as well as some other skills. So here's what I did. If you take a week and you're like, or a month even, and you're like, we're just gonna learn multiplication facts till we know them, you're probably gonna get frustrated, your child's gonna get bored, and you might still not know them by the end of that month. So what the research says is that what you need to do is do small chunks of time over a long period of time. So that's why I developed this skills practice. I'll hold this up so you can see. So each day they do one skill for like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but really in our house, it's like 5 minutes. And so, for instance, after they finish the chapter on multiplication, they're gonna do their multiplication facts just with 2s, 5s, and 10s, all right? Like the easy ones. And they practice those, and then when they've kind of had some practice with those, they'll do just the 3s. And then they start to combine until by the end, they're like doing a whole bunch of multiplication facts together, mixed multiplication facts, okay? So you do a little bit each day, and that really leads to long-term retention. So it's kind of like the spiral that some people are used to, except that you're still moving through this book cover to cover. And how do you do the skills practice? For each unit, I laid it out. So I told you exactly what you need to do, which facts. And then I decided to give options because everybody's different. So some families are just gonna wanna do flashcards, keep it simple, make sure it gets done, that kind of thing. Other families are all about the games, like Capture the Square is a really fun game. We have the game board for you and everything. In our family, we do a mix, okay? We love the games, but some days we're busy and we just do the flashcards, but that way it gets done. So that is the structure of level 3.